Good evening. This is a meeting of the Athens Board of Zoning Appeals. The time is 7:01 p.m. and the date is April 12, 2016. At this time, I will call the meeting to order. The board consists of 5 members and 2 alternates. The alternates taking full part in the discussions and becoming a voting member in the absence of a member or when a member abstains for conflict of interest. Present tonight are members Ms. Betty Hollow, Ms. Kay Towsley, Ms. Joan Kranansky, and Ms. Lisa Carson. And the alternate member is Mr. Ed Baum. I am John Goldsey, the chair. We also would like to welcome Mr. Richard Surois, our new zoning administrator. Welcome. And also Mr. Paul Eschenbacher, the secretary. At this time, I invite you to view a pre-recorded video on the rules and procedures of the board.
The Athens Board of Zoning Appeals operates according to the following procedure. The chair will name and describe the case. The zoning administrator or secretary will state the basis of the objection and any applicable facts or conditions pertaining to the case. The appellant or their representative will give reason why the appeal should be viewed favorably. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of the request will be heard. Anyone wishing to speak in general comment will be heard. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition will be heard. If necessary, or their representative will offer concluding, summary, or rebuttal remarks. Testimony from the floor shall be closed. The board will deliberate and render a decision. According to Athens City Code, Section 23.07.03b, the board has power to grant variances from the strict application of the code, provided the variance will not be contrary to the public interest, the spirit of the code is observed, public safety and welfare are secured, and substantial justice is done. According to Athens City Code, Section 23.07.10c, variances from the code shall not be granted unless the board makes specific findings of fact based directly on the particular evidence presented to it, that the standards and conditions imposed in this title, if applicable, have been met by the applicant. Exceptional circumstances. There are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applying to the property in question or to the intended use of the property that do not apply generally to other properties or classes or uses in the same zone. Practical difficulty and undue hardship. Because of exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions pertaining to a specific piece of property, a literal enforcement of these regulations will result in practical difficulty or undue hardship that is unnecessary to the achievement of public purposes. Preservation of equal property rights. Literal interpretation of these regulations would deprive the appellant of rights commonly enjoyed by others in the same zone and the same vicinity, while a granting of the requested variance will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied to other properties in the same zone and the same vicinity. Minimum variance. The variance granted is the minimum variance required to make possible the reasonable use of the property. Absence of detriment. The authorizing of such variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent property and will not materially impair the purpose of the zoning code or the public interest. Not of a general nature. The condition or situation of the specific piece of property or the intended use of said property for which variance is sought, one or the other or in combination, is not of so general or recurrent a nature as to make reasonably practicable the formulation of a general regulation for such condition or situation. Any person, resident, or officer, department, or appointed body of the City of Athens, aggrieved by a decision of the Board, may petition the Athens County Court of Common Pleas concerning the illegality of the decision. Such petition must be filed within 30 days after the mailing of the decision of the Board to the applicant.
Agenda tonight, but the first one, which was case number 1603V, the property lot 1703 at Ring Street, has been withdrawn. So we will not be hearing that one. The first case we're going to be hearing tonight would be 1605V, property at 10 Rufus Street regarding a sign. And the last case would be case 1606V at 55 Hospital Drive, also regarding a sign. The board is required to take testimony under oath. Would anyone wishing to speak concerning any item on the agenda please stand? Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you will present to the board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please be seated. Thank you. Case number 16-05V, Zone R3. The address is 10 Rufus Street, and the appellant is Advanced Sign Group. Appellant is requesting a variance from ACC 2303-13I1K, Roman numerals 9A, to allow a freestanding property management identification sign 21 square feet in area, where 15 square feet in area is the maximum allowed. And I believe, Mr. Eschenbacher, there are some other conditions under this section, but they have satisfied minimum 4 unit and so on. Okay. Anything you would like to add?
No, just in an R3 zone, 15 square feet for an apartment building identification sign is the largest allowed. You may just want a bigger one.
Okay. Any questions for the code office?
I guess I do have a question, because they're requesting a freestanding property management identification sign, but according to these regulations, property management signs must be attached to the front of a building. I mean, I'm reading...
Well, this is an identification sign.
Well...
It says freestanding.
It says freestanding property management sign. I mean, I know you're saying the word identity, but under K we're reading property management sign, so I'm a little confused.
Okay.
Well, it's actually under section I, not K. So it would be I1K9, small lowercase k, and Roman numeral 9.
So this...
Wait a minute.
2303.
So if you started section I there, standards for signs, 2303.13, go to section I, standards for signs, and then you go through till you hit K for property management, lowercase k, and then for Roman numeral 9, it says 15 square foot project or identification sign is permissible in the building.
Well, I realize that. I mean, the chair sent us copies of this whole section, and I just don't understand why the rest of the section doesn't apply to this, since it's a property management sign. I'm just asking, because this is how it reads it in the code. And an answer, you know, I mean...
Well, also, if you look at G,
discuss it afterwards.
for H, but that's for, okay, that's R1 and R2.
Yeah.
It says K.
I know.
A.
Oh, I deleted A, S, John's. It doesn't, I don't think it says anything. I was trying to format it. Can I see, did you bring a sheet? Can I see yours a minute? Oh, there is no A, it's K, I.
The rest of it is in the old code that you have in your folder.
All are visible from in front of the house on the first floor.
All I can tell you is the person who worked up the permit considered it an identification sign.
Well, this does say it doesn't have to be on the front door, it says, or visible from in front of the house on the first floor. So they're requesting something,
Yeah, I'm not
something
really
that
sure.
will be
It's a little confusing.
visible. This will be visible in front of the property and not on a floor above.
Okay, signs may not be neon, metallic, reflective,
They are,
illuminated,
it's
moving, or
that.
flashing.
Right. So that doesn't work.
Right.
Sorry.
Any further questions for Mr. Weschenbacher? Well, the appellant could come to the podium, please. State your name and your address.
Good evening, my name is Jerry Helsel. I'm with Advanced Sign Group, 5150 Walcott Court, Columbus, Ohio.
And my name is Bob Freund. I am the property manager at River Park, River's Edge, and soon to be River Gate, which is at 10 Rufus. So that's where I come in.
Could you tell us why you want 21 square feet instead of 15 square feet?
I think we both have.
Yeah, I'll first lead in just hearing the comment earlier. It is an identification sign, not a property management sign. It's to identify the property, or the apartment building complex, to be exact. We took a careful look at the site, the egress, specifically coming down Green, around the corner at Rufus at the stop sign, and we noticed that traffic comes up very fast to this entrance. So when we took into account trying to make a sign proportionate to the layout of the entrance and the building with traffic, being that this main goal of this sign is basically to help direct into the apartment complex. This is going to be the main focal point of the entrance where the bulk of the traffic is going to come from on that side. The design was intended to go along with the scope of the building. There's two buildings there. They took a look at size with relation to the setback. It is kind of close to the road as far as setback goes. We did, after looking at the rest of zoning, we've tried to satisfy every area that we can. When it came down to the square footage, keeping it in proportion with the building and with the sign base that it's on. Again, it's tied into the look of the building. It's on a base. There's a planter with it. It more or less looks like a brick column, a V-shaped column that's going to again coincide with the architecture of the building. And when we looked at square footage, we started out with a 15 square foot sign. And to be honest, when we laid it out, it didn't look like it was going to be enough impact to be able to be visible correctly, and for the intent for the property to be able to get the kind of visibility that we know that they're going to need due to the heavy traffic that they're going to have. We didn't feel that this is going to impede any neighboring properties. It's their property and parking across the street. There's a large embankment on Green Road that faces the freeway side. So there really was going to be no other visual impact other than this facility going in here. There's no other entrances on the other side or across the street or preceding this building that has any other signage that it can compare to. So we felt that this was kind of a unique situation, given that the location kind of lends itself to something that's going to be unique just for this area. So there is a little bit of a hardship with the identification, but more or less we felt that it was in tune with the building. It was in line with other types of architecture that have been approved, that have been looked at. I know when you drive around there, as far as navigating, it's the most important thing is we want to make sure that you can navigate and find the entrance without having any issues.
So I guess I have several questions, but let me get to the first one. It says illuminated monument sign. How is it illuminated?
It's the Rivergate portion, which you see would be like the white portion of that face there. That's internally illuminated with LED lighting.
So it will be lit 24/7?
Not 24/7. I believe in. Bob, you might be able to speak more on this. I'm sure we're doing some type of timing system.
Photocell or a timing system.
So eliminated
Most
when?
likely photocell.
Right.
When?
If it's on a photo cell, it will come on when it gets dark and go off when it gets light. It will basically operate with
So
with
during any of the dark hours, it will be lit and probably viewable from the bike path?
It should be, yes. I would imagine that being that proximity of the bike path, and again, because that is adjacent and parallel with the road that the entrance is on the jogging and bike path, correct?
And you're putting this in front of the building, in front of the main entrance of the building, correct?
Yes.
And there really isn't anything else to distract a viewer's attention down there, so I would think that, the building itself is quite stunning and gets your attention. As I drove around there, just trying to get to that point, there were several signs that directed you to the leasing office for...
Probably River Park.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were like this, but they were very obvious to me. And because there's nothing else to distract you, I don't see why it's necessary to make this sign beyond the code specifications.
The best way I can answer that, number one, I can't attest to the distraction because I think that would be more or less, you're going to have individuals obviously that are very familiar with the area. You're going to have delivery people. You're going to have visitors, parents coming. So you're going to have different people. I can throw myself in that mix. The first time I was here today and I almost got lost driving around, even with the smaller signs that are intended to be wayfinding. This is, again, it's a wayfinding sign, but it's also identification for the building itself. So I think it's a little bit more unique other than saying here's where parking is or here's where permits are picked up or something like that.
It's basically identifying the building.
It's identifying the building, but it's also serving as, when you see that building identification, most people understand that that's also where you're going to go in. You don't usually put an identification sign at a point where you can't get entrance, specifically when it's a ground-mounted sign like this, and I think that was the idea when they laid that out. They tried to space this sign correctly with the entrance and the building. I do agree as far as distraction goes. There's nothing else sign-wise on that road, but there are light poles. There's planned landscaping. There's going to be some planned shrubbery and trees that are going to go along there. So I think visualizing that full term, again, coming from the other end when we make the stop at Rufus onto Green, it comes up on you very quickly because the building is actually in your way. It's very close to the road.
And that's part of my biggest concern is through that section as people are coming up on it, to have enough notice that they need to slow down and turn into that area and give enough cars potentially behind them. South Green is the new way that they're taking people through to the football games and all the rerouting a lot of the traffic. So if people are coming in through a tour and there's, say, football traffic over the weekend, enough advance notice so they can slow down and not slam on the brakes last second and turn in.
But isn't the parking place, isn't parking off of South Green for the most part?
The actual main entrance is right where the sign is.
Well, I know that. I know the walk-in entrance.
No, that's actually the pull-in for the parking garage, too.
Isn't there a pull-in from, well, you couldn't tell because the fence is all up, but it looks like you could pull in from the South Green.
There will be an auxiliary entrance that you have to work your way through River Park to get to and circle around. But the main entrance that we're leading all to the leasing office or to anybody like the mail trucks and everybody would be through this main entrance area.
And another, to the point I just wanted to mention on the size, was taking the sign from 15 square feet to 21 square feet. The increase we try to keep proportionate, so if we had it down to like a 3 by 5, it would be more like a 2.5 by 5.5 or something. Again, we were trying to keep it in relation to the tie-in with the layout of the monument and the layout of the building to give it the same type of tie-in. So we didn't want to go any bigger than we felt we needed to, just to be able to get that architecture tied in with the sign and then maximize the visibility. We could get a little bit further away, I think, and not be so close to that building right there, but because the building's right there, there's really nowhere else to put it where we could get something, or even have two signs, but this is the sign that we're allowed to have, so we just felt that if we could get that sign just a few square feet bigger, it's going to help, I think, with the visibility.
Let's move to something slightly different. This says the scope of the project, 2 sets of illuminated letters on raceways.
That's total different signage. It's not part of this.
So you're not having moving letters on a raceway?
No.
Okay. They will be illuminated all night long?
Correct.
But, okay.
It's a stationary sign.
I'll
yeah.
cross that up. Okay.
Did you say that you're limited to like certain sizes, like maybe 3x5 or 3x7, or can you make it any size that you want?
Well, we could make it any size we want if we were working within 15 square feet, but
Right.
the identification of Rivergate and their logo, which is consistent throughout some of their other signage and signing on campus, we were trying to keep that same image to make it as familiar as possible for the students.
Well, I just want to say one thing about the signage on campus. Traditionally, the signage on campus has been kept to a minimum and to be directional, but relatively unobtrusive, not sort of in your face. We look at us here. It's to show you where to go, but it's not monumental. And if you're trying to keep your sign in relation to the monument, you could, of course, make the monument itself smaller so that they would still be in adequate proportion, but both totally be smaller. You have a huge project over there. It's hard for me to believe that somebody is going to go by and not recognize what it is. It's not like this is a house or a little bunch of houses. It's a huge project. I understand why you want a big sign.
There's a concern also with the 3 projects all together and making sure that people understand
Which is which.
which one is which, because we have a hard time getting people up to leading them around up into the River's Edge project, which is that one up on the hill that's kind of blocking the one direction. The signage that we have is, well, that's why we do a lot of A-frame signs on property and balloons to catch their attention, to make sure that they see how to get to the places that they need to go, because the signs that we have on property don't always get them there, and they call us driving around trying to figure out how to get to the leasing office. So that's part of what I was thinking, was to help them get to the new building, which nobody knows about. The other buildings have been there from 63 or back 20, 30 years. So some people have the understanding of how to get there, or at least Google.
Don't people have GPSs? We do in
Rufus still isn't
Athens.
updated on all the GPSs yet.
And I agree with the statement about the signage on campus as far as being unobtrusive. I think, again, that's the intent of the architectural design here. The monument itself is designed to be an image of the building, a part of the building. Instead of just, we could stick a sign out there with no base and put some plants around it, like you see a lot of the other ones on the other end of campus, and it would just look like a sign sticking out there. We were really trying to make this look like it's part of the building. It's architecture. It's not just a sign. It's not just this box that sits out there.
I get that.
So, it's got planters on it. It's got a nice limestone cap on it. I think that was really a lot went into this to make it look like you don't just drive by and see this sign. It looks like it's part of the building.
Well, then there's another question. It never says on the sign, leasing office. So people are going to see the sign, and what's it going to tell them? Except that...
That's where Rivergate Apartments is located. I mean, that's what it's designed to tell them.
Okay.
But what they won't know is whether they should go in there or go down to the corner and then turn right. There's no indication that that's where they need to go in.
It's at the entrance. So, again, I think the intent is when you drive up on it, and I can't speak for everybody that drives, but when I'm trying to find something and I see the sign and it's at a driveway, that's where I pull in.
It's like a hotel.
And on the south end there, that's exactly where the parking garage is. So that's going to be the main flow of traffic. As soon as you pull in, you're looking at the parking garage. So I think that's the idea, is to get it in. If we were allowed more signage than 15 square feet, I think we would be adding some more messages onto the sign. But again, we're trying to keep it as simple as possible, just to get the idea that here's where you come. Even to do that, we've grown 6 square feet over what we would normally be allowed, just to try to make it identifiable and then tie in with the building.
So are you going to have maybe another sign beyond this that says office here or there?
As they pull in, there will be signage to turn into the parking garage, because we have specific leasing parking under, that's in the covered parking area, right near the elevator, so people have access, whether they need accessibility or they're free walking.
I think what they're actually hoping here again is that this serves as more than just looking like a sign like all the other signs that are out there. And I think maybe it kind of, I don't want to say starts a precedent, but maybe starts to create an image of that these apartment complexes being on campus can still look nice, they can still be tied in nice, and not look like there was just signs jaunted around that we put in just to say that we have signs out there. We're really trying to make it more like architecture and less like a sign.
So maybe this is what you call branding? But could you show me
To a
on the
degree, yes.
drawing where you enter the building? Because there's no streets on here, but... Right, okay, so here is...
This is the entrance right here.
This is the entrance.
Yep, the sign's here. This is the entrance. Here's the parking garage. So you're going to come right in here, and here's the parking garage.
Where's the front of the building exactly?
The front of the building is here and here. It's an L-shaped building, so it has fronts too.
Okay, is this Rufus?
Yes.
And this is the front of the building,
Correct.
Rufus. And the sign's going to be over here. So the sign's not going to be at the front of the building. It's going to be...
It's on the green side.
The
not
elevator,
the Rufus side.
where you go
It's
up to the
here.
Thompson office.
Yeah.
Right.
Because this is where the traffic
Oh,
is
here's
going.
this little thingy.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
So explain this configuration. Do we have a sign here that says River Park and a sign
So
here
you'll
that
have
says
internal
River Park?
signs?
Do you have the signs on?
Yes,
I do.
Well, here's exactly how it would lay out.
Because I go past that.
So it's
maybe
two
4 times
sides. It's a
week.
V-shaped sign.
I've been
Okay.
watching it.
So this is the
going up.
face you see from
And
both
I'm
sides, but we
envisioning
shaped it
a
like
little
this.
sign there, and I see the
Okay,
sign.
so
I'm
it
not too
doesn't
sure
look like
what to
this.
do.
It looks like this on this side
Should
and
I
this on
turn
this
in there?
side. And
And if
this
I
is
turn
the
in, then what?
planter.
Right, that's a top
And
view,
that's
so
where
if you're
we're
looking
gonna
down,
have
it's
to
what the
make sure
planter
that
would look like.
as soon as they
So basically
they
we
see
have
the
two
sign
signs.
and turn in.
Maybe we should have only one conversation at a time.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was
Okay.
trying to just
I know,
show-
but it's hard to hear on the tape.
Television audience can't hear it.
Okay.
Well, it's just that it says it's on Rufus here, so I'm thinking of putting the sign over here. I didn't even look at
The
that.
address is Rufus, the sign is physically located on green, on the
Right.
green entrance.
I see this now.
And Mr. Eschenbacher, there's nothing we need to worry about the wall itself or the stand part, anything, that's not a part of the sign.
It's not part of the measurement.
And the setbacks were correct?
Yes.
But we do in fact have two signs, one on each side of the V.
Right.
Each one 21 square feet.
It's a double-face sign, correct, yeah.
Okay.
If it was a standard sign that wasn't in a V shape, it would be the same thing. We have
Okay.
just...
So you have 42 square feet of signage.
Correct, as far as total signage, but zoning calculates one side of a double-face sign as calculated square footage. Right, Paul?
Yes.
Okay, double check.
So as with the Summit and Carriage Hill, everybody has the double
Same
face
thing.
sign as they pass through.
Okay.
Any more questions for the appellant? You may be seated for now.
Okay. And this
Is
says
there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this proposal? Or this variance?
illuminated.
Right.
Is there anyone wishing to speak in general comment? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition will be heard now. So, okay.
Sorry, I wrote all over your thing. It's okay. I can't help it.
We're going to close the discussion from the floor. And any discussion on the board? They have some green space in there, flower.
I wonder if they counted that in the green space when we gave them the variance before. Oh, I wonder if they have enough green space now. They're going to cover that
Well,
up.
we don't have to do that.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Those other folks will take
Sideline.
care of that, sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If there's no discussion, we need a motion then.
I move that the board accept, grant a variance under case 1605V for Advanced Sign Company, 10 Rufus Street. Appellants requesting a variance from ACC 2303-13I 1K 9A. allow a freestanding identification sign?
Property management identification.
Well, it's okay. I think we decided it was an identification sign.
It was an identification sign.
I think that's what they said.
Right.
Yeah, or property identification. I don't know.
So are we dropping the property management and just saying the identification sign and going with section H?
Make any difference?
Paul, can you clarify that? Is that possible?
It's up to you. If you want to just call it an identification sign, we know what sign it is, so.
Okay, so we'll just call it that. I think it's safe that way. Freestanding identification sign, 21 square feet in area where 15 square feet is required, in area is the maximum allowed.
I second.
Okay, let's go over the.
Okay, I have one question for Mr. Eschenbacher. So if we compared this sign, as these gentlemen are suggesting we do, to other signs in large residential projects like this, is this of the same ilk, or is it typically bigger? Do you recall our giving variances?
Well, I think some of the Coates Run has a bigger sign off the top of my head. I don't have specific figures for
Okay.
each sign.
No, I'm just asking you
Yeah.
what's your sort of memory of that.
Yeah, I would say roughly, Carriage Hill, some of the Coates Run, I think they're bigger than,
Well, Carriage
Maybe
Hill
they're-
would have been grandfathered.
Carriage grandfather and that, but off the top of my head, I can't think of any large apartment building signs anywhere.
Okay.
So I can't give you an accurate
Okay.
percentage of which are bigger and smaller, but in general, I'd say it's around the same size for a lot of them, yeah.
Okay, so we have granted some variances, you think, for such signs?
Well, we don't know that.
I don't know.
We don't know that because Carriage Hill was...
I don't know of any apartment building signs off the top of my head that we've granted recently, but that doesn't mean I just forgot.
Okay. I just needed some impression, okay.
Are there exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applying to the property in question or the intended use of the property that do not apply generally to other properties or classes or uses in the same zone?
I would say yes, because it's a very large complex. And
Well,
most-
it's not any larger than the other complex. I mean, River Park is like how many buildings? 8, 9 buildings? You don't see a big sign there at all.
But I probably wouldn't object to seeing a big sign there. I mean, it seems that in proportion to the size of the project, most of what we were given here in the section K or whatever, seems to be talking about the signs that are in neighborhoods, rental properties within the neighborhoods, like homes that have been
No, it's talking
converted.
about R3s. So,
Well, but converted homes, they're talking about, it seems to me they're talking about, because they talk about the house and so on. So they're talking about small signs, as we see in a lot of the rental of houses. But a giant complex, having a larger sign seems not unreasonable.
well, I guess my issue here is that, Athens, we started looking at signs because we had 2 cases of signs. I would look at signs all day today. And if you notice that, we keep our signs really to a minimum, and sometimes people come with sign requests, and the factual data that they're going on is projections maybe from other communities. But you drive around Athens, and we have a real low scope of signage. And so I guess my fear is, and I was thinking of this driving around, that once we start granting bigger and bigger signs, then all of a sudden we're moving beyond that, and more people will want to see that, and then we're losing, the whole spirit of the code and the sign ordinance and the City of Athens in terms of keeping signage to a minimum?
I think there are maybe few large complexes in there, and this sign is larger, but it's not really that much larger, you know. And I think maybe a larger sign may be better to have to be able to identify one complex from the other one.
It's 30% larger.
Yeah, it is. It is like 3 by 5 or 3 by 7. You know, 2 feet on the width is larger.
But it is an open area there. It's not like people will be distracted by other signs and so they wouldn't see that sign. It is going to be illuminated from any time in the evening, so that would be no problem. If you're going towards...
Though it says it shouldn't be.
Well, I know, but that's why I didn't say property management sign. That's why I said identification sign, because if it's a property management sign, it can't be illuminated.
Yeah.
Right.
According to the code.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know. I just think that there's such open space down there, and when this whole construction of this property came forward, some of the concerns. Well, one of the things that was noted was that it was nice that there was open space on the one side so you could fill up the whole area. Yeah. And now we start putting a bunch of signs down there.
Well, having done some studies on signs myself, you know, sometimes when you have a 3 by 7 sign, you look at it from the foot, it's very large, but when you get from a distance, it's not as noticeable or as large that you think it would be. So it's a visual effect. I don't know if I'm right or not on those things, but so that's just my take.
Okay. So what's the next finding?
Practical difficulty and undue hardship. I guess, again, having complexes, large complexes, and you want to identify one from the other, maybe that creates some hardship with a smaller sign.
Well, but the hardship
Pushing it.
is, will we be creating a hardship for them by not giving them the variance?
Yeah.
A hardship that
I understand.
wouldn't have to apply, but that might affect the purposes of the code.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we'd be giving them a hardship, but they still have a sign. They still would have a sign of 15, whatever, square feet.
Yeah.
Two-sided, nicely shaped. I mean, I liked all their architectural styles from the beginning, so I think that's a nice way to do it. And it'll be illuminated.
Any comments from this side? No?
Not yet.
Okay. Preservation of equal property rights. Literal interpretation of these regulations would deprive the appellant of rights commonly enjoyed by others in the same zone and the same vicinity, while the granting of the requested variance will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied to other properties in the same zone and the same vicinity. You said there was no other signs for the other buildings?
I didn't really see any, I mean, there's signs on the buildings themselves, there's signs that direct you towards the...
So this will grant some more privilege to this piece of property than maybe the ones around here. Okay. A minimum variance. The variance granted is the minimum variance required to make possible the reasonable use of the property. Again, I would argue that having 2 feet on maybe the width of that could be minimum. I know you disagree.
Not necessarily.
Absence of detriment. The authorization of such variance will not be substantial detriment to the adjacent property and will not be materially impair the purpose of the zoning code or the public interest.
Well, it kind of depends on if you accept what Joan was saying about signage being sort of minimal and...
Well, I think if the sign is smaller, you have to be looking like this, and then you may have an accident while you're driving. So
you have to remember, most of these people coming down there are much younger than we are, and their vision is much better.
What about the parents who are visiting?
Even the parents are much younger. Well, I guess I'm speaking for myself. Okay.
Okay, not of a general nature.
Not yet.
No.
No.
Okay. Are we ready to vote? Now, the folks at the control room are getting a shot of the board. All in favor of this variance, please raise your hand. We got 2. All in opposition? 3. You did not get the variance. 2 to 3. Okay. The next case is case number 1606B. Zone is B3, and the address is 55 Hospital Drive, Kessler Sign Company, the appellant. The appellant is requesting a variance from ACC 2303-13I4D to allow a freestanding sign with 60 square feet of area where 50 square feet in area is the maximum allowed. And from ACC 2313I4 to allow a second freestanding sign where one sign is the maximum allowed.
Hi. Most of you remember me from last December. I'm Roger Kessler with Kessler Sign Company, and we represent O'Glennis Hospital and Ohio Health. Last time we were here, we granted us some variance for directional signs within the facility of the hospital. And we put most of those up in January and February. And then we've got some feedback from the citizens in Athens County about the signage. And one of the biggest things that came back was the entrance sign off of Union Street. Once we get in, we can find most of our things. But
that's what you said last time.
And now we got a problem as you come off of down Union Street from downtown to the hospital, or come from the plains or wherever, coming in that direction. Visibility of where the hospital entrance is according to the folks at the hospital, is a big problem. So what we're requesting is a sign that says, number one thing is emergency, so people know where to go. And number 2, the 2 hospitals that are there, both Ohio Health and O'Glennis. And a directional arrow showing. The other issue we have, if you're coming down Union Street, we have that, I don't know, it's a house or it's a building of some sort on the left-hand side that sort of blocks the entrance. So if you're coming from downtown, coming in there, you're supposed to decel and get in the decel lane and make in the turn lane. Well, I don't know if you probably have seen it more than I have, but people just come from the right-hand lane and or they're in there like that. So we think that this directional sign will help promote the safety of entering the hospital. So if you're going to the hospital, you're going there for a specific reason, and not a reason that was caused entering the hospital, as in an accident. The other sign we need is a sign directing as you go into the main entrance. There are 2 ways to go: to the right and to the left. To the left is the hospital. To the right is another facility, and people are getting confused there. So people pulling into the right to the other facility that was a behavioral health, instead of turning left and going. When people enter into the hospital, they're going under a litany of different circumstances. One is an emergency situation, which people are canning. 2 is they're going there to visit a friend that might be in the hospital, or they're going there for a specific reason. a medical reason. And the medical reason or emergency, you want to get where you're going as fast as you possibly can. If you're going to visit a friend, you might have other things on your mind. But directing people in and out of the hospital, that's what we're trying to do. So, at the end of the day, that's what we're asking for, and I'll answer any questions. I think one of the ladies mentioned that us older folks have a little vision problem. I brought my glasses today, too, so if I have to see anything close up, I can do it. But probably 2/3 of the people using the hospital are people that are over 40 or, by federal government standards, visually impaired. So it's important that these letters be large enough that you can see them and enter into the hospital in a proper and orderly manner. Yes, ma'am.
So I'd like to get this out of the way immediately, but in looking at those signs, the Appalachian Behavioral Health Center is on the sign now that's there at the entrance. When you make a left off of Union Street
Yes.
Okay. And it's nowhere on any of these signs, so are they not going to get any identification?
They have a sign further on down the way on the university's property indicating that.
If you come in from Schaefer by the river, right?
Right here.
Okay.
Oh, right. So this is staying?
Yes, that will stay in.
Well, this has your stuff on it also, right?
It has one thing about the hospital on there.
So we're going to have both these signs plus this sign.
Well, this sign.
Indicates that the hospital, I mean, that's a national sign,
they're
maybe
taking that
international. But this is there.
Yeah, but the hospital's coming off of that, so they'll just have one place to go.
So you're saying that the hospital will not be mentioned on this sign?
Correct.
Okay, it'll just be their sign.
So then there's going to be two signs there.
Well, this is on someone else's property.
That's
Has
not the
nothing to do with
hospital.
this hospital property.
Okay. But it's that location, that's all I'm saying, right?
Well, yeah, near that location.
Right. And so you're going to put that in the middle?
In the island, yes.
Okay.
Right
Could I see that?
Can you bring it down this way now?
here.
Okay, where's the behavioral health sign?
It's right here.
And Hopewell doesn't have a sign, does it?
Yeah, they have one as you go in. It's back
Right,
in there.
it's down
It's
farther.
in a temporary type sign.
I have
That's
little
okay.
eyes. Oh, that's the green sign, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
like
green
that.
sign that's there.
So it stays there, but the reference to Oblenis comes off.
Correct.
And where they are has to do with who owns the property?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure the university owns this property, where the sign's located. And the hospital, my understanding is they own that property.
Okay,
So
thank
the
you.
hospital owns the driveway?
That's my understanding. That's their site plan shows.
Okay. Couple quick questions. How far back from the roadway is that sign projected to be?
It'll be 25 feet from the curb of the street. See this curb right
Right.
here? It'll be 25 foot back. Isn't that correct?
How long is the average automobile?
20.
I have a problem there because I drive that every day.
Okay.
And if there are cars lined up, that sign will block the cars. I won't see them. I may see the one in front, but I won't see the one behind. And sometimes people try to come out quickly, and if the second one's following, he won't see me. So I have a concern about a sign that large, that close to the road.
How about if we move it back 30 feet?
That would help.
Well, then is it really going to...
Yeah, it'll be all right, because you can see here, if I move it back 5 more feet, it won't be a big deal. And we're willing to do that.
If it pulled up to here.
It still will be visible. The further you get back, the more the house interferes with it.
Right.
But I think we'll be, we drove it, we staked it, we drove it, and we had people from the hospital drive it. So a lot of input from a lot of people, including their sign consultant. And that's where he staked it, and he called us a week ago and said, hey, I looked at this again. If we need to move it back 5 foot, it's not a big deal. We'll be all right.
Okay.
And you're right. I think it'll make it a little more safer. That was a little bit of a concern of mine as well. Because we drove it again tonight and kind of made believe that there was a sign there. You can get 2 cars in there pretty easily that won't interfere, but it's 5 more feet at the end of it. Okay.
Do you have more pictures to show us?
Yeah, this other one here. This is what the sign will look like going in that direction. See, up Union Street. I think that's the right terminology.
Okay. So,
Tell me again, on that picture, where is the behavioral science sign?
Right here. So if we move it back 5 foot, that still won't block it.
Right. Because someone coming from the other way, I just want to make sure they can see both signs.
Yeah, that won't be a problem. Certainly it won't be a problem this way.
No.
Even if we move it over 5 foot, I think you'll still be able to see without any problem. Which hopefully they're going to upgrade that sign to a little clean it up.
So are there,
Paint it.
what's the proximity of the trees on that little island in terms of the trees and the sign? I mean,
I think those trees
The tree
are
has
on the other
been
side of the
removed
road.
already.
say again, I'm sorry.
The tree has been removed already in front.
I think that's good.
Because I couldn't remember seeing
Yeah.
anything there, but, okay.
Yeah.
It was removed.
But I think it's Pine Street still there, right? Or is it going to?
Yeah.
I can show you what was removed.
Sir, could you please state your name and your address just for the records, and then we can talk.
Ray Lynn, Kessler Sign Company.
Okay.
This is probably the best one you can see. The trees were set up right here, they're gone. And this is where the sign is going to be. And this is the sign that's the behavioral health that's already there.
And we're also taking this down.
Yeah, all this is coming down.
So it'll clean up the area because it's pretty ratty looking. Right.
Okay, so this sign will be visible coming west and going east.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and it'll be the same size on each side.
Correct.
Okay. And okay. Then there's another sign you want. Where's another sign?
Yeah, that sign will be in the island.
It'll be this one?
Yes.
Okay. How big is this one?
This is the same size as
Same size?
No, same size as the signs that were granted
There's just more of them.
Before.
Right.
It duplicates that.
Okay.
And it is located up here. So once you get to this point, you really need to know that if you're going to the hospital
Sure.
over
But
here.
there is a sign here now.
Yeah, there is. I think.
There's one over here.
Well,
It's for the
okay.
behavioral health.
But it also
there are other signs there.
points
I
you
wrote
to over to Castrop and so
Yeah.
forth. Really?
I just drove it.
Okay.
And they got, actually, the hospital got a lot of feedback from the folks, and they said, hey, you need to do something about this. This is an issue.
Yeah.
How many, what kind of feedback did they get? I mean,
Well,
what kind of issues were people
Well,
having?
particularly people that rarely use the hospital, newcomers into the community, or people that
I mean, it's so sign plentiful. I came off from the rear from Schaefer.
from the rear, it is.
There's plenty,
we did
and I
we did a
came
good job
from
with-
Union Street, and it seems like there was just way too many signs. I mean, maybe almost too many signs. Maybe that's what's happening.
No, the feedback we've had has been unbelievable with the interior of the hospital.
Okay.
And people are going and parking in the right place. If you're going in the emergency room, you go out in the rear. If you need the
It's
heart
very
hospital,
confusing.
it is. It's like a
Yeah. The heart
It's like
hospital
a-
you can't find, and
it's almost a campus in within itself. So
it's not well signed on the building.
and when I was going to school there, I opened that hospital. So
Quick question.
Long time.
Where is the second freestanding sign?
Oh, we have it in the packet. Right there.
I wish I had.
Got the one, but I don't know where the second one
The
is.
movie was going to be at 7,
So
but if I could just
you
leave.
enter into the hospital. That's going right
Absolutely.
there. So it tells you to turn up here for the
Cover your
hospital,
microphone, Betty, please.
and then
Your
the
mouth, your
other one on the way.
microphone.
Wouldn't it be better to coordinate with them and have one sign saying, go this way for that and this way for this, instead of having the people come in and look, oh, there's a sign there, oh, there's a sign there. That is...
Well, I don't know what the behavioral health is going to do if they're funded and done, and that's university property. I hear what you're saying. That would make some sense, but you got two organizations, and
Have they talked with each other?
I don't know.
Well, they must have at one time, because they're all on that other sign that's there now, the green sign, so. What?
Yeah.
That was years ago.
They don't talk now?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I do not know. I don't want to say they do or don't.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some communication, but how they get their funding and how they do things over there is totally separate from
Oh, right, I realize that, right?
them. So,
Okay.
so I don't know what to do with that.
Anything
A
else?
question, I
Sure.
guess, yeah. So the last time you were here, we granted variances for directional signs within the hospital complex.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
And these signs, your thinking is, on the one hand, to label the whole area for people coming from either direction on Union Street.
Yes, ma'am.
And then up here, the second one is to keep them from,
Yeah, because we have some of the hospital, people wanting to use the hospital are going into behavioral science
Yeah.
or health. And sometimes, I don't care, you have cop out there directing traffic, they wouldn't go the right way, but
That's right.
at least this way, I think we're going to get 90% or maybe 95% of the folks going the right way. And we won't, there's a lot of people saying stuff, so
Okay.
okay,
we're just trying to make it easy for people.
thank you.
Do we assume the second sign will meet code requirements, or is it also going to be a big sign?
No, it's going to be the same directional signs that
As the
were
ones-
granted,
Non-illuminated.
One in there, okay.
that they granted
Before, okay.
And
Same size.
what size was granted before? 50?
21 square feet, is that?
3 by 7.
3 by 7.
Excuse me, Paul, did you bring that file from,
I think there was 10 signs granted, this would be the 11th.
Well, if we granted only 10, then you're adding one more, that would be a new case then.
Right. And well, we have it on our.
Yeah, we granted 10 at so much size, but now we are adding one
all
more.
of the,
Right. Yeah, and we.
I don't think that automatically applies to the previous.
No,
granting.
And we're asking for it, I think
Okay.
we demonstrated that
Yeah,
folks are asking for it. Come on, help us out.
I understand, yeah.
hospital.
Sir, would you like to add anything more? You?
Any more questions?
Well, I just, looking at a copy of the other variances that we granted, I'm trying to see where the other signs are. That's the bikeway, so
Yeah,
where
they're out by the bike
the
path
hospital.
and in the back rear
So,
entrance,
this
This
is,
is
there's the
the hospital.
entrance.
but all within
The
the
entrance should be,
confines
This
of
is-
the.
that's the front of the
I
hospital.
I would note that the new signage is a lot clearer for anyone going
So
in.
the test truck.
I agree.
Yeah, because
It's
again,
so much-
There is this building here, right?
You can't believe
I
the
can't see where the hospital
comments,
is. What is this? This is the
we've
front
had with
entrance.
this.
oh, I believe them.
Correct.
It's really nice.
Okay.
Oh,
So
so
easy
then
for-
maybe not.
Well, I
Us
don't know
mature
whether you can get in
Find
here.
that.
Union
Yes.
Street.
I don't know, that's what I can't figure out.
Okay, while you're doing this, let me ask if there's anyone else who wants to speak on behalf of this variance, or in general commentary, or in opposition. Okay. Just please, one more second in case they have a question.
I'm going to run the rest of the time.
Second floor.
Okay. Shaker Street. Okay, where's Union Street?
I don't know, it's just, John, can you,
Where's Union?
where's Union Street?
Is this the
Let
front
me
of the
ask a
hospital?
quick unrelated question.
Yes, sir.
Does your group have anything to do with the room number signs in the building?
No.
That's a different group, okay.
I don't know, is this Union Street?
Do they need help?
Well, there's no problem with them.
Should be
Are they
this one, isn't
sequential
it?
at least?
They don't run in sequence.
Well, it doesn't seem to continue.
Oh, that's
This
crazy.
is from that
Okay, here's the
Yeah.
river over here.
1424,
Union Street is
1425,
over here. All right,
1423,
so
1418, 1417,
circle at Castro,
1500. Okay,
Well,
this is-
1540.
So then where's the
Okay,
Castro?
so this
So Union
is,
Street is out.
This is the
okay, so we don't even
150s.
see
And
where,
then the
When you
hospital
come
is
off the
somewhere
Here
over
it
here.
is.
hospital's office,
this
you
is
go
the
to the
circle
right
with the
30
Castrop
yards.
Center.
There's the
Union
one
Street isn't
nurses
here.
is
Okay, wait a minute. So we have to turn it around.
Right, so
All right,
Yeah, the
so
one's
So
currently,
this
we
is-
have one sign
over here.
here. This one sign is at this point.
where's the entrance?
that's once they're already in the hospital complex, yeah.
Exactly.
This must be the road going over
This is
the
Union?
Exactly.
No, it doesn't
So, but
look
this
like
is where they want to put another sign, it's like, at
Yeah,
some point.
yeah, that's
I
over here.
have that, okay,
Because all that driveway, or, I
Right.
mean, yeah.
right. Okay.
I still don't get it.
Sir, could you come over here, please? Sure.
All right, so where's the front of the hospital? Is this the
No,
hospital?
this is the Castrop Center. This is that circle in front of the
So
Castrop
then
Center.
this
Yes,
is,
could
this
you
is
show
where you
us
come
the-
in.
This is where you come in.
Okay,
This
then you
is
drive
Union
over here.
Street.
So this is where your sign would be, right over here, right?
They're looking at the old,
Yeah, this is the old, this is the old map,
Okay.
this is the new one. This is
Yeah.
Union Street right here.
Yeah.
Well, we know that, but we're trying to see where all those signs were placed, and
But
then
they're
we're
not on
trying to
that
see
map.
where, they're not on this map, because this is,
don't know.
this, it's up at this
There's
point.
no signage in this area, if that's what you're,
Right.
this is the beginning of Union
This
Street.
is the first sign.
That's correct.
Okay.
Right,
And
so
that's
your
the-
sign
that-
would be
That right
back,
there is where the
the
hospital
sign would
is.
be
That's the
right over
first
here.
sign.
That's the first sign.
Where's the
Yeah,
first
but-
sign?
The
It's
first
not on
sign
this
is
map.
here, which would be,
Well, if this
Way
is,
back, no, way back in.
well, yeah, it's just beyond.
Okay.
Maybe
What's the
right about
point
here.
you're trying to get? What is it that we want to determine?
Well, because when I went there today, I kept seeing all these signs, and I swear when I drove off from Union Street and took a left and drove in there, that it was very clear to me, there was a sign I saw that directed me
to the Castro.
exactly to Castrop, to emergency
But
parking.
Mr.
Yeah,
said that
and-
sign wasn't there that we have in
See,
our
when
heads.
you come in this road right here,
Mm-hmm.
you got the behavioral health right here, and this road, that's the very first sign.
So
Right,
there's your sign.
I realize that.
So this sign out here is going to catch your east and west on Union.
Right, exactly.
And then-
Yes,
then-
that made sense.
And then this sign right here is going to tell you that, see this is
You mean
where
the
a
sign
few
is
were
gonna
turning
be
in.
here.
This
It's going to be in
This
that
is where
is where a
center.
few were turning in,
Right.
Right.
and you want them directed this way, so that would say emergency and the hospital that way.
Right. So there is no sign here. Back here.
Yes, there is.
That sign's already existing, we're talking about
Yes,
these
And
two.
you're just going
exactly.
to keep that one too.
Right. Is
I
that
think the
correct?
problem
Well, I'm
is that there are too many signs, but okay, whatever.
So, and it'll look like, that is just crazy. Okay.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, there are some signs in there. We're going to close the discussion from the floor, and entertain any motion.
I'll do a motion. I move that we grant a variance in case 1606V at 55 Hospital Drive, Kessler Sign Company appellant, from Athens City Code 230313I4D to allow a freestanding sign with 60 square feet of area where 50 square feet of area is the maximum allowed. And from Athens City Code 230313I4 to allow a second freestanding sign where one sign is the maximum allowed.
Anyone want a second?
I'll second.
So, I guess I have a question. So it seems that Joan and Betty are saying that there's already, that the first sign of the 10 that we discussed in December is along
It's viewable as you're driving. If you're coming from, say you're coming from Court Street down Union, made the left into the driveways, and as you're coming down there, that sign is almost right in front of you. I mean, I never question which way to go. I mean, the proximity from that sign to where the turnoff is, I think, I mean, if you're driving with your head up, you can't miss it.
Well, I guess my question would be then, what would be the distance from the second sign that they're proposing to the existing sign that you're talking about?
I don't know. That would be a good question.
Well, and the sign
Yeah, you could comment.
the sign that I seem to be remembering, I'm told, is not there. So I wasn't there today. So,
But that's the one I saw that's at that, where this is you make the curve.
well, so you're talking about up here,
As you
and they're talking
go
about a
into
sign
the
back there.
property, you come to this Y in the road.
Right.
At the Y, we'll be back from that about 15 feet from the Y. And at that particular point, when you're there, it is, if you're looking over to the left, you probably can see the hospital building or whatever. If you look to the right, you can also see another building that is not real clear what that is. And because they're like, it appears to be one campus to the average person, you're confused of which way you want to go. Particularly now that they have the heart facility in there, they have emergency facility, they have a surgery center in there, and a lot of different components within the hospital. Who's to not say that that's not one of those other components, the other building? If the truth be told, the other building needs a sign on it to say what the heck it is. But once again, we can't regulate that or tell them what to do. So our whole point is we want to ensure that people go into the property in an orderly and fashionable manner. Right now, people go to our other building wanting a bypass.
Can you address that question, though? The second sign, the first sign is a identification sign for the hospital, right? Ohio Health at Blennis. And then a little further on, you're proposing a second freestanding sign.
Correct.
And how then, when we do take that left to go into the hospital complex, how far is it to the first sign that directs to emergency?
Oh, I'm going to say that's a good 100, no, more than that, probably 150, 200 feet. I mean, I haven't measured it, but it's a ways.
So if I understand this, the second freestanding sign that you're asking for, the basic purpose of it is to help people understand that they need to stay left for all hospital-related things.
Correct.
And who knows what's over to the right. And then once they get past that, you have directional signs telling them which way to go.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
And that's the problem. Where do I turn at the Y? It's not a big deal for me, for you, because you've been to the hospital and you know where you're going. But once again, you have 17,000 people every 4 years coming new to this area, plus their parents, plus other people that come here for different events. So, and they're not familiar with it.
So how far did you say it was from?
I'm guessing 150, 200 feet, maybe even further. I never measured
And
it.
then how far from the original, from the first sign you're requesting at the entrance to the second sign that you're requesting?
It will probably be, I'm going to guess, 65, 70 feet.
Okay.
might add that the hospital is a pretty frugal place. So
Right.
if they didn't need it, they wouldn't be putting it in.
We understand.
I can tell you that for sure.
I think for the sake of time, we're going to just close the discussion from the floor and
Well,
discuss
you're coming
among
in
ourselves.
here, so
This is what the sign's going to be, right?
the sign's going to be right here.
Exceptional circumstances.
I think so.
Aren't they going to put
Well,
it
I
on
don't
the
know.
median?
I don't
It
know.
seems
I
very
don't know
similar
that.
to,
We haven't asked him that. I was assuming it was over here. But in any case, then you go down, and at the point where you would come to this Y here, right, then you would see immediately, don't go this way.
Right.
So you'd be going over that way. I don't know why that has to be quite as big as that one, but okay.
Exceptional
And in
circumstances.
fact, the sign is here. It's not
Ladies,
even-
we're just going to
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. Are there any exceptional circumstances for this case? How do you?
Well, I would
It
say...
is a
in-
hospital.
Yes, it's a
It is
a different order.
Right.
So it's a particular thing that requires people to know how to get.
Practical difficulty and undue hardship based on the same
Right.
reason.
Yep.
Preservation of equal property rights. There's only one hospital in there, so we don't have anything to compare with.
Well, we do. We have the Appalachian Behavioral place next door.
Yeah.
I think we should clarify that there are actually two facilities.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. Neither being really all that well marked compared to the contrasting colors of the hospital marking.
But they may not be of an emergency nature,
Yeah.
their operation. Minimum variance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Absence of detriment.
No detriment.
No. And not of a general nature.
No.
Correct.
Okay. Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
All in favor, raise your hand. Okay. All opposed? Okay. We have 4-1. You have the variance.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So we will see you, in 6 months again?
I've been told this is it.
It better be.
All right. And the last item on the agenda, disposition of the minutes from March 8, 2016 meeting. I read it, and there was, I guess, one correction was made?
Yeah, somebody made a correction.
Yeah. So with the correction, do we want to have a motion to accept?
I move. We accept the minutes, March minutes,
Yes.
Okay.
as corrected.
Yes.
Second? Yeah.
Yes.
Betty,
Yes,
second?
yes.
Okay. All in favor? Raise your hand. A motion to adjourn.
All right. Yes. Let's do that.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.